guys, welcome back to Home Theater Guru. So today we're going to be looking at the AWOL 3500 UST, which is ultra short throw projector. We've already looked at the 2500. Now I've actually had this one. This is the step up, the 3500. I've been running it for about 6 to 8 weeks. So I've got a lot of time on this thing. We've been using it in the living room and we put some hours on it. So this is going to be a little bit more than just going over the specs. This is going to be kind of a little bit more in-depth review. If you're after a home theater experience, you have to have an immersive image. Now, by the time you hit, say 9, 10 feet away, you're at about a 110-inch screen around 10 feet. If you want a 45-degree viewing image or immersive viewing angle. And I design home theaters, and around 45 degrees is kind of the sweet spot where you have an immersive image, but it's not fatiguing. But the problem is, by the time, we're at 10, 11 feet, 12 feet, you're looking at about a 135-inch screen. You hit 13 feet, you're about a 150-inch screen, so it quickly jumps to a very large screen to have an immersive image. So if you have a living room and you're sitting, 12, 13 feet away, even a 100-inch TV is going to feel small. I mean, when you're after an immersive image. And that's where the ultra short throws really come in, in a room where maybe you can't do, it's not completely blacked out, you got windows and you can't do an overhead projector, you need something you can sit on the floor. These work fantastic. And if you're at a distance where it's really advantageous to step up to like a 150-inch screen, the 3500, the extra light output it has over the 2500, it is quite a bit brighter. You're talking about, 1,000 lumens. And in my room, we've got a lot of side lights, large windows. So the ALR screen is really, it's better for overhead lighting. So the extra output, now we have a 120-inch screen, so it's not the huge 150, but the extra light does help it. It was substantially brighter in that environment than the 2500. 2500 was a great projector, but there's no doubt this one is a step up, and light output is everything with a projector. Now, if we have blackout curtains or something like that, it is a much better picture. The ALR screen we have is it comes the self-rising screen. It's a really, really awesome screen, but it doesn't do as well with side lights. It's really intended for overhead lighting, to reject that type of lighting. It does really, really, really good with overhead lighting. So now that we've kind of talked about why you might want a projector like this, let's go ahead and jump into some of the specs. This is a 4K RGB triple laser projector. It's got active 3D, Dolby Vision, 4K Ultra HD, and it's 27 dB of, that's how loud it is, 27 dB. And I will say, when we were using it, I never heard it. Now, if you're really quiet and there's absolutely nothing on, you can kind of hear a slight hum, but that was when I was listening. I've never heard it since then because I wasn't really listening for it. So, I mean, it's really pretty dang quiet. And I was sitting in my living room about 11 feet away from the screen. So I'm probably, 9 or 10 feet from the actual projector. Now, this does have an onboard speaker, but if you have something like this, you're not going to be using the onboard speaker. The onboard speakers, it makes sound. It's not I wouldn't use it. You're gonna have a nice sound bar, or you're gonna have a home theater system, like a home theater in a box or something nicer. You're gonna have some decent sound to go with this to really do it some justice, or do the picture some justice. Again, we've got over 1 billion colors. The 3500 here covers 107% of the top REC 2020 color gamut. So the colors are really, really good. And also it's got a really good contrast ratio. I mean, the contrast ratio isn't high spec wise. I mean, it's decent, but with the lights down, you do get a very good picture. The blacks are great. Now I do have a silver ALR screen, so that does help with the blacks a little bit, but it has a very, very good picture. I mean, so good that when we would have some people over the first time they saw it, they would, we would turn it on, they weren't expecting much, like, dang, that's pretty freaking nice, because I mean, it actually does look like a TV, especially, or has a quality image, kind of like a LCD TV when the lights are down. It's not going to be OLED, but I've got a $16,000 JVC in the movie room in here, in my demo room. It's nowhere close to an OLED either. So projector wise, it has a very, very, very good picture. All right, it also has turbo mode for gaming. At 4K, it can do 60 hertz at 15 milliseconds of input lag, which is really very fast. 1080p can do 120 hertz at 8 milliseconds of input lag. So you can game on this with absolutely no problem. It's a very, very fast projector. Now you can order this with the optional 3D glasses. I did have 2 pair in the box. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to test it out. I just didn't have any 3D content. Now this does have a very large lens. It's one of the, or is the largest lens on an ultra short throw projector that you can get. And what that does is it's so large that you have much more clarity from one corner all the way to the other corner. You know, if the image was like at the corners of the lens, then you may have some blurring and things like that. So you don't have to worry about with this. The picture, it was very, very even. I didn't have any problems, which to me was kind of odd because, you know, the screen is so close to it. So it's kind of wicked how it throws the image up, you know, with something being so close. You know, you've got the bottom of it here, and then, you know, 6 feet over here, the image is perfect. You know, it really has a very, very nice image. I was really impressed with just the quality of the image. This is a triple laser without a phosphor color wheel, and that gives us a better color gamut. It gives us better color accuracy, less noise, and less rainbow effect. If you guys remember back in the day, if you've been in the hobby for a while, some of the old projectors with color wheels would have the rainbow effect. Like if there was like a dark scene with a campfire or something like that, you may see rainbows around it, but the better color wheels had less of that effect. Well, with this projector, I never noticed it, but they've done some things to make sure that it's not a problem. Again, and I have seen it on other projectors. Some people are more sensitive than others. I've seen it before on, you know, in the past when I've used or owned or, you know, watched projectors that had color wheels. Not a problem with this one, even though I'm sensitive to it. I've never seen any rainbow effect with this projector. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the back of it. We've got our optical cable in, or that's fiber, like a fiber optical cable. If you remember back in the day, that's what we used before HDMI. We've got a service port. We have a USB 1. We've got a LAN port. We've got AVN. We've got HDMI 2 for eARC and HDMI 3. HDMI 1 is actually behind this little cover. You just push that in, and we have a Fire Stick Max in there. So that's going to handle all of our Netflix, you know, whatever type of streaming apps we want. It's going to take care of that. Let's have a really nice looking remote. It looks kind of like a Fire Stick remote, just kind of dressed up, a little blinged up a little bit. Works really, really well. Now I use the eARC connection to my receiver. I have a Marantz Cinema 10 in the living room. No problems with eARC whatsoever. The remote was able to control the receiver's volume. I mean, it was flawless. I would turn the projector on, it turns on the receiver, and this right here connects to your USB port. This is actually a little transmitter that turns on or it tells the projector screen to come up. So when you turn the projector on, the projector screen automatically lifts up out of the floor, or out of the, whatever you want to call it, the box sitting on the floor. And then when you're done watching it, you turn it off, it's going to retract back down. So that's pretty slick. Now, as far as setup goes, it's actually very, very easy. Just, you know, you set it down on the floor and you pretty much just kind of wiggle it around until you get it as close as you can in all the corners. Now, there is a 8-point keystone correction, and you can grab different points around the perimeter and stretch it to get it just perfect on the screen. Like if it's hanging over just a hair, you can pull it over like 1/8 of an inch. Usually keystone degrades the image like with a standard projector, because I mean it's kind of like trapezoid, and you're trying to make it fit a wall, but usually you're having to do like a heavy amount of keystone with like some of the cheaper ceiling mounted front projectors. With this one right here, I mean, you're doing such minor adjustments. There's really no noticeable degradation of the image whatsoever, not by eye. Now, because this has a laser light engine, we have 25,000 hours of lifespan. So, I mean, this thing's gonna last for years and years and years and years and years. All right, so, you know, after having this thing for a few months, having it in our living room and using it daily, we have enjoyed it quite a bit. It surprised me, it surprised everyone that saw it. If I didn't have a dedicated home theater, you know, where I've got, you know, the 45-degree viewing angle that I want, if I didn't have that, I would have this in my living room, you know, long term. You know, if the living room was like an area where I wanted an immersive experience, I've got an 85-inch Sony in there that I sit, you know, 11, 12 feet away. It's small. I mean, it really is, viewing angle wise, it's not that large. You know, it's not an immersive experience. And if I was after that, I would want something like this in there, hands down. You know, I've got a feature wall. I would have built that feature wall around something like this. You know, probably not the screen that goes up and down, but maybe like a mounted screen inside my feature wall that I built. And, you know, with this mounted in there off the ground to where it was kind kind of like built for it, I would do something like that without a doubt. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. We are going to start doing more Q&As. I've been kind of slacking on those, so those are going to be picking back up. So don't forget to subscribe to the notification bell so you don't miss the new videos that come out. And I will see y'all for the next one.